Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this, listen to this. This is the voiceover solutions for all of Chapter 2, Sections 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. Question 1, following frequency distribution analyzes the scores on math test. Find class boundaries. And he gives us a specific lower and upper, specific class here, between 40 and 59. So, class boundaries are used to take a regular bar graph and to get rid of the space between the bars. And this is accomplished by taking the lower class limit, in this case 40, subtracting 5/10, taking the upper class limit 59.5 and adding 5/10. So notice he's not looking for all of them. He just wants the class boundaries for a specific class between 40 and 59. So subtracting 5/10 from 40, 39.5, adding 5/10 to 59. Subtract 5/10 from the lower, subtract from the lower, add to the upper. Could be much simpler. Second one, here again, he's asking us class boundaries. The specific class he has in mind here is between 95 and 99. All right, so I'm going to subtract 5/10 from the lower boundary, giving me 94.5, and adding 5/10 to the upper boundary, which will give me 99.5. Subtract from the lower, add to the upper. He's asking for class width. Class width, as was described in the PowerPoint, is the difference between any one lower and the next lower. All right, so if I take the first lower limit 1 and the second lower limit 6, the difference between 1 and 6 is 5. But notice, even if I found the difference between 25 and the next higher 30, the difference is still 5. Class width is consistent. Difference between 21 and 16 is 5. All right. Class width is not the difference between a lower and an upper. It's the difference between any one lower and the next lower, or any one upper and the next upper. Hope you got that squared away. Here we go, class boundaries again. He's specific here. The class between 26 and 30. Subtract 5/10 from the lower, add 5/10 to the upper, gives you 25.5 and 30.5. Frequency distribution summarizes the home sale prices in Summerhill. All right, he's looking for the class midpoint, and he's specific. He doesn't want all of them. He just says, hey, I want the midpoint for this particular class right here between 235 and 265.9. The midpoint is the halfway point. I take the lower class limit, which is 235.0, add to it the upper 265.9. Add them up, divide by 2, you get 250.5, letter D. Cumulative frequency. Here's the deal with cumulative frequency. Cumulative always starts out with the words less than. All right, so right away, I see letter D does not have the words less than. All right, I'm trying to get my pencil to do this. So I know it's not letter D. Can't be. All right. And the second thing you got to be aware of is it always starts out with the words less than, but it begins with the lower class limit of the second class. In this case, it's 30. So if I look at letters A, B, and C, they all have less than 30. Now, what was the count that was lower than 30? Well, it's 4. Between 0 and 29, there were 4 cars. As I look at this has got 100. Come on, give me a break. This has got 0.04. Letter C has the 4. The minute I see this is correct, I'm done. It's letter C. I'm not going to go back and talk about the others because it can't be the others because this has the only cumulative value that's less than 30. You know what they did is they took the 4, they added the 16 to get 20, and then 60 more is 80, and then 20 more. But the minute I see that this is correct, all right, because it matches up right here, I'm done. Let us see. Why even, go any further? It's not going to change. It's not going to have like one answer right and the other's going to be wrong. All right, so number 7, same idea here. Cumulative frequency always starts out with the words less than, so already I see that it can't be letter C because it doesn't have the words less than. And it always begins with the lower class limit of the second class, 72. Now, how many values were less than 72? Well, here it is right here. 19 were less. All right. Because between 69 and 71.9 is less than 72. There's only one that has the correct 19. When I see that, I'm done. It's letter B. Can't be anything else. All right. A, and I don't know what D is doing. It's got a cumulative, but that's a decimal. That's relative frequency. So. All right. Dot plot. This is so. How can I say how easy this is? You're putting dots over the values. Sometimes what you do is you kind of scan them. First thing I see there is 1, 0. As I look at letter A, it's got 3 dots above 0. B's got 2 dots above 0. D's got 3. Letter C is the only one that has 1 dot above 0 because there's only one value of 0. Finished. You don't have to fill out the rest. And once you find the one that's correct, stop. You're done. There's only one value of 0 here. And letter C is the only one that had 1 dot above 0. Dot plot. All right, what do we got here? Frequency distribution. We're looking for relative frequency. Well, relative frequency is a percentage. And what's missing here? He tells me the frequency 60, 73, 91, 89, and 50. What he hasn't told me, what I need is a total. If I'm going to change this to a percentage, I first have to change it to a decimal. So what you had to do is, on your own, add up these 5 numbers to get a total of 328. Now he's looking for the relative frequency of, well, the chart here. So what I did is I took the very first value between 200 and 300. The frequency was 60. 60 divided by the total of 328 gives me 0.1829. As a decimal, that's 18.29%. Letter D is the only one that has the correct 18.29%. I am finished. It's letter D. There's no need of doing the rest of them. Once you find that first one is right, unless I had 2 that had 18.29, then I'd have to go on. But letter A has 12.5, B has 15.5. I don't know what C has, 27. There it is. Once this is right and there's nothing else that has the correct first answer, why am I even wasting my time? Letter D and moving on. All right, the dot plot again. Well, letter A has an 11, letter C has an 11, letter D has one value of 11. As I look at the values here, there's no 11. Letter B, of course, has no 11. There are 2 12s, but the minute I saw that there were no 11s, I knew it couldn't be A, nor could it be C or D. It's letter B. A little common sense goes a long ways. All right, same thing here. The correct answer here was letter D. And how I found that out, I looked at the number of 2. Letter D doesn't have any dots over 2 because at 2 there's the 0 frequency. Everything else had, this guy had 1, 2. This guy had 2 2s. This had 1, 2. There are no 2s up here. All right, there's a 2, but the frequency is 0, meaning there's no 2s. Letter D. Moving on. All right, the stem and leaf, where the stem is the tens digit and the leaf is the ones digit. As I look, I see that this represents 30, this is 32, this is 30, this is 32. No discrepancy there. But look at the stem of 4, leaves of 3, 6, 8, and 9. Stem of 4, leaves of, they're saying here that there's 2 values of 43, and there they are. All right, this one is incorrect because there's 2 numbers whose value is 43. Letter B is the correct response. Number 13, also letter B, and the discrepancy here is that this has a 2, 1, and a 7, indicating 217. But guess what? There is no 217 here. There's 215, 219, but this represents 217. As I scan the numbers, there is no 217. Here again, stem and leaf plot. This all looks 2, 3, 4, 4. Oh yeah, this guy here has an 8 with a stem of 2, so that stands for 28. Now, why did I circle 58? The idea is I should have highlighted this. All right, there is a 28 here. Now notice this doesn't have an 8 here. This B is saying there is no 28, but I see it right there. So that's why the 2 and the 8. That was a discrepancy between these and these. All right, one had a 28 and one did not. That's why it's letter A and not letter B. I shouldn't have highlighted the 58. Construct a pie chart. Well, first thing you need to know is the total. I added the number of capes with the garrisons and the number of split level homes. I came up with 44,000. So I took capes because capes was first. 11,000 over 44,000 represents a decimal of 0.25. 0.25 is 25%. Notice this has the percentage of capes as 30%. No, it's 25%. That's why. It's letter A. I could have done the same thing for splits, and I could have done the same thing for garrisons. I chose capes to do it once I know this was right. The rest of it is going to be right. This can't be right. After this is wrong, the whole problem B is all wrong. Same idea here. I added up the acres in forest farming and urban. Came up with 70,000. Forest represents, he tells me here, 10,500 of those 70,000, which is a decimal is 0.15. 0.15 translated to a percentage is 15%. Notice this has forest as 20%. No, 0.15 is 15%. That's why it's letter A. Moving on. Out of the 9,833 vehicles on the campus of State University, yielded the following pie chart. And you can just see it simply asks us, what's the percent of vehicles that are hatchbacks? Well, duh, there it is, hatchbacks, 36%. I'm not sure why that's even there. All right, tells me a survey of 3,367 vehicles. Here again, gave you this pie chart. Find the number of vans. Well, he tells us that according to the pie chart, 8% of the vehicles are vans. If there are 3,367 vehicles, 8% of those is 269.4, rounded to the nearest whole number, 269. Pretty straightforward. Inventory, what's the total inventory? What you had to do is take the number of inventory for suits, underwear, sweaters, ties, socks, shirts, and trousers, add those all up. You would have gotten 168,858. Just a matter of adding those 2, 4, 6, 7 numbers. A scatter plot is like plotting points on a Cartesian plane. First value, my x value is -5, my y value is 3. As I look at this, I don't see a -5, 3 here. I don't see a -5, 3 here. And the only one, letter D, is the only one that had a -5, +3. All done. Didn't you see that first one? This one is correct. All the others didn't have that, so they can't be right. So it's letter D. That's all I had to do. I have to plot all of them. As soon as you find one discrepancy, you are finished. All right, that's pretty straight. I mean, these first 3 chapters is, you're presented with a great opportunity to really store up some points. But these are more difficult as we get on. So you really want to jump all over this because it's, I'm not defending it, but it is what it is. But it's as straightforward as you can get. It will get more difficult. So hopefully you do your best on this first test. I'll talk about it. It'll probably be in a week. It's Tuesday or Thursday. I'll let you know.